again, everything that we raise here stays here, and it just allows us to provide better service to community members that come to the hospital.
Welcome back, everybody, with the Buffalo Community Podcast. I've got two characters here. We've got Darin Zumock and Jeremy Welter putting their hats on as kind of in partnership or on the board chair of Buffalo Hospital, and kind of bring us up to date on this Right Wellness Walk/5K fundraiser coming up soon.
Yeah, so Darin Zumock and I were on the philanthropy committee, which is part of the Buffalo Allina Hospital subsidiary, various boards that they have. Yep. It was a program that's been around for many, many years, but in recent years, just there's been new turnover, kind of bringing it back to life. And the bottom line, the end goal is to bring back hosting community events, raising funds that stay in our community, in our hospital. It's for our docs, our programs, services that we offer here locally.
Yeah, it's more about the whole county as well, right? It's not just Buffalo. That's correct. The footprint we want to get to, is to be able to reach out wider and wider and wider. Yeah. So people understand, what we're doing, why we're doing it, and that it's going back in local. To Jeremy's point, it's not going to the larger financial group of Allina. It's coming right back to Buffalo. It's
making a meaningful impact locally to your neighbors, your friends, your family, all of that, people in need. And I see you've got a bunch of sponsors here. So let's kind of, before people kind of tune out here, but let's talk about the event so they know exactly where to go before we dive into a little bit more detail.
Yeah, so the event is going to take place at the Buffalo High School on the track out there. It's going to take place May 31st, which is a Saturday. The event goes from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I'll let Darin kind of touch on. We're going to have a lot of events out there. I mean, it's really going to be kid family focused.
Yeah, I mean, we're even bringing in the helicopter, right? Lifelink. Yep. The county's bringing in boats and four-wheelers, so there'll be people there to talk to the county sheriff's office. The Buffalo Fire Department will be there. We've got Jumpy Castle. Nice. And, for kids to do that, we've got a dunk tank. I think, Tyler, we signed you up for the first run on that.
Yep. I know for a fact, I shed that off like water, like off a duck's back, because I'm going to be gone. But I'm pretty sure I volunteered Mark that he's going to be there.
That would be awesome.
I think that's what it was.
We would love that. We're going to have live music out there. There'll be 4 food trucks. And then the opportunity, to promote wellness as well, right? So we call it a 5K walk run because this is our first year, and I think we're still trying to get our ducks in a row, as they say, of really see what works and what doesn't. People will be able to come out. They'll be able to run a 5K. They'll be able to walk a 5K. Okay. And then the concept is you build a team, and then you could raise funds off of that as well, right?
Sure.
So, if you have a North Star Realty team, then you guys can get people to donate to your team.
Kind of like the polar plunge.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, when it first came up way back in the day, the health of the heart, I'm trying to think, there was a concept way back in the day where they walked 24 hours. Yeah. It was a heart, I can't remember the name of it, but they go to the track, they'd set up stands, and then people would literally walk 24 hours, and you would raise funds.
They'd have those lanterns out and everything. Yeah, it's kind of back where I grew up. I remember that. And I mean, it's kind of cool. And then it's gone in the morning, like, well, it's gone.
I've got some friends in Hutchinson that do that. And that's kind of one of the ideas that we came up with. Let's create something and start with that. So this is our out of the gate, I guess you would say, right?
Yeah.
And we really want to make it a fun event where people are coming to have a good time. We've got hopefully a microphone out there, so we'll be able to talk to some people, interview some people. And it's really about the education of what the hospital does, right? Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, when you go home at night or on the weekends, do you think about Buffalo Hospital? No, you just pray that you never have to go there, or somebody that goes there. So it's good just to involve people and make them aware of, I'll let Jeremy touch on some of the funding that we've done already of what happens with this money that we're raising locally.
Yeah.
Yep. So just real quick, wanted to touch on, and maybe in this video, I can get you a digital version of this. We can post it out there, but there's still time to sign up. So again, we didn't want cost to be a barrier of entry. So for a single person to enter the actual 5K portion of it, it's $5 to get in. If you want to enter a team up to 10, again, it could be 2 people, it could be 5 people, but up to 10 people, it's $50. Mm-hmm. That gets you on the track, participating. And again, those are the funds that we're using to collect to bring back to our community. Ages 12 and under are free. So again, we've got a lot of events, activities taking place outside of the track area. That'll be 100% free for kids to come and check out. The food trucks, obviously, you got to buy that food, whatever you want. But 12 and under is free. 13 and older, if they want to participate in the walk event, is $5. So again, the entry is pretty minimal. A lot of events out there. And again, these funds, so we've got some of you may have seen articles going around about a Mako surgical unit we have at our hospital. We're one of the first ones we are the only one in the entire Alina system to have this machine. And Dr. Harms is done thousands of surgeries with this thing. It's an awesome piece of equipment. There was earlier this past fall, some articles going around about a very specialized adaptive bike that we were able to help actually one of our local residents here get. We tried various different avenues to get them the funding through a lot of other organizations, and they didn't meet their criteria. And so as a foundation, we had the funds available, and we said, this is something that this individual needs on a daily basis to really get around, and it can grow with them throughout their life. And that was important to us. And so it's like, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, we've got the funds. Let's do that. So we're able to help him out. We've got a scrub club that is continuing to grow, where it's a high school program. These students that have an interest in the medical field, they get to come in and do basically one-on-one training with a lot of our docs and really dive in and get a hands-on aspect of what's it like being in the medical field. And, the doctors absolutely love it. The students love it. But obviously that costs money to put that program together. So funds towards that. We've got an oncology program. We just funded, so breast cancer awareness. I'm not going to get into too many of the details, mainly because I don't really know. I'm not that smart. But the old ways of kind of tracking cancerous cells was basically a needle that they inserted. It had to stay there. It was very uncomfortable, awkward. Sometimes it had to be there for a couple of days. And now we were able to buy these basically little magnetic chips, and they can plant in. They don't move. They don't have these weird pins hanging out, and it's a lot easier to place them. They stay where they need to be. They track, like, it's easier for the patient. It's easier for the clinic. But again, it costs money to do that. The broader Alina didn't have the funds available, but we were able to say, hey, we want that in Buffalo. We want our community members. And again, anybody that goes to the Buffalo Hospital has access to this. So different things like that. Newborn and labor and delivery, we've got these newborn kits that we were able to fund, where care packages come in. You get some, diapers, wipes, a onesie, a hat, different things. And some of these families, they don't have access to getting that. So again, everything that we raise here stays here. And it just allows us to provide better service to community members that come to the hospital.
Yeah.
Scholarships throughout the community, right? I think we've got at least 5 right now.
I think actually I just saw that list. So between Buffalo, Annandale, Rockford, St. Michael, I think we're at 12 students right now.
High now? Okay.
There's a vetting process. So I think, I want to say the last list, there was 12 students that applied for it. Then we're going to review, there's a couple different steps, but yeah, we give, I believe it's 5 total scholarships.
Yep.
$2,000.
What I find amazing about boards like this is, one, inside organizations, I mean, doctors are specialists for, being doctors and nursing and everything, but I think there's so many people out there that have good bones and maybe not an avenue to be able to give back to the community of stuff that they're really passionate about. And this kind of fits that avenue of people inside the hospitals, something like, we need to be doctoring over here. Mm-hmm. But we also have this other passion in where you guys come in. What's your connection and how did you get on these boards? What's your passion behind that of really seeing this, fulfill a need in I guess a spot in the community that is so desperately needed on some things that people don't even know.
It's interesting because so many people ask me, well, how did you get on there, right? I mean, I've been...
Well, I was tall and they just said, hey, you.
But I've run the golf course boards. I've run the gun club boards. I've been involved in all these boards. And I got to give Lori, my wife, the credit. She said, why don't you volunteer something that helps the community as opposed to, like, we'll call it a hobby, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that does sound good. And ironically enough, I was at an NFL draft party with some friends, one being Jeremy and Doc Kuzma.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, you know, we got this board going. You'd be a really good fit for this. And I went home and thought about it, and I called back. I said, that's awesome, right? Something I can do locally in the community as well as help spread that word. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've enjoyed it. I've only been on actually last night was a year, right?
Yep.
That they asked me to join. And it's fun to educate the community as well about what we're doing. Because like I said, prior to this, I had no idea what these guys were doing. I didn't know this existed. So to get that word out there, right, and to bring it in, that's how I came into this. And like I said, it's been a very, very fun experience and a good way to give back to the community.
Yeah. You know, and again, we had mentioned Carla Heater in the past.
Exactly.
You know, that's probably a name that's very familiar around the community.
Right?
Super passionate, excellent, and it's just kind of creating like the vehicle that can help all these subsidiaries, you know, out. It's just, you guys are the drivers right now, and people have an opportunity to be involved, to give back. You know, even if you can't attend it, you know, I'm sure there's opportunities to donate,
absolutely,
anything like that. So,
correct.
I know whenever we've brought the kids to like events like Touch a Truck or anything like that, that's a huge deal of just like, that's a great way to spend a Saturday. This is Saturday, right? Saturday. It's a great way to spend a Saturday.
So, and then having the fire truck there and the helicopter, and you know, to let the young kids might not want to walk, but they can come see that, and parents can contribute or donate, you know, and just once again, it's that community involvement, right? We're a big city with a small town feel. That's why I've stayed here my whole life, right? That's what I love about Buffalo. We're a larger city now, but you get that small town feel out here.
Yeah. And, you know, even as a full grown adult, helicopters are so
absolutely.
I hear it coming in because we're not that far from the hospital here. I go and watch it. It's fantastic. I hop on the scooter and I go over there. It's fantastic.
I remember as a kid, I actually lived in the townhouses right by the hospital, and every time we'd hear a helicopter come in, I'd get on my bike and I'm over there and just sitting there watching in the field. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah. It changes a little bit now. I say a little prayer for them. It's just like, you know, it's somebody's bad day. Their helicopters are really cool. It's about this event. It can still remain just cool. Yeah. You know,
right.
You know, so it's positive. But, absolutely. Yeah. Is there anything else that we kind of want to hit about either the foundation, the board, the event itself, anything else?
I'd like to say from an event perspective, you know, we're putting it on Facebook. We're trying to share word of mouth, but reach out to Jeremy or I if you have any questions, right? It's the first year, and you know, with everything, a first year is a building. It's a foundation.
Yep.
We'd like to see this expand and get very, very big and really involve more people, more community. So the biggest thing I could say is please share it. You nailed it. If you can't go, if you're willing to donate, but share this with your friends and make sure people understand, you know, and you can dress up. You can have a fun outfit. I knew they do the Boo Run around Buffalo Lake for Halloween. Yeah. You can come dressed up. You can do whatever and make this however you want it to be. And it's also a good way to put the phones down, turn the TV off, and bring the kids out and just get some fresh air.
And have some fun.
Yeah. So my request would be please share this with as many people as you can, so that way we can get a good draw, raise some good funds, and have a good time with it.
Yeah. And just to build on that, I mean, again, we're still open for individual participants, teams. If you want to be a vendor, we've got plenty of space. We got that entire soccer field for vendor space. So if you're a vendor and you're interested in being part of the event, get in touch with myself. My contact information will be on the form that we put on there. There's QR codes to register as a team, or just, again, like Darin was saying, to just donate. Again, all the funds that raised with this event will stay in our community and help everybody else out that you know, goes to the hospital. And beyond that.
Yeah. And do you want to shout out a few of the sponsors that have already made the flyer here?
Yeah. So some of our larger sponsors were Burnix. They helped us out with pretty much all of our beverages that will be there the day of the event for the participants. Metropolitan Heart Vascular Institute. They're a big partner of the clinic. Cokato Charitable Trust. Hunt Electric. We also have Forge Fitness, Buffalo Chiropractic Clinic, North Star Pro Realty, and Bolton and Mink as some of our top tier sponsors. And
that wasn't a passive aggressive way of putting North Star Pro Realty there. That was I was almost like, just say everybody else right now. But no, I mean, it's definitely these things, you know, people want to help, you know, but they're, you know, put their business hats on, and this is kind of an easy way. So definitely, you know, talk to those sponsors as well. You know, they put those funds and the passion that you guys have too back into the community. And, you know, God forbid that, you know, anything happens, it might be somebody that actually benefits from some of these funds too. So it just kind of really helps that small town feel, even though we're getting larger, and it's always good to, be able to help your neighbor out.
Well, one thing I will share for those that, don't volunteer situations like this or whatever, the donations, to see the look on that little boy's face, we did it right down the street here. That bike came out and he wasn't comfortable with big groups, and you could tell he was nervous and really, and when that bike came out and he sat down, I'm telling you, that smile was as big as the sunshine. And awesome. That, I get tingly thinking about it, right? Because that's the stuff that really pays it forward, and it goes to such a great cause. So where I'm going with this is, if you can't walk, the donations go to such good things like that help young kids, adults, whatever it may be. And it's a great feeling to see that in work.
One, we're working on, and again, it might be a morning of the event decision, but we're working on having that individual kind of kick off our 5K. So he'll be out there with his bike. Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
It'd be really cool. It's just, there's a lot of cool things that we're able to come and utilize these funds for. And like I said, Darin and I are on the philanthropy committee. There's some doctors. I mean, we've got a pretty diverse group that are on that board. And we review requests that come in for these funds. And there's a lot of good discussion about, is it being utilized appropriately, and what benefits. Is it going for in the benefits? Does it serve the community? But doing organic stuff like this is just, it's an awesome way to really impact locally here.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we can help. I'm hoping that all 250,000 of our followers can help by sharing this, getting the word out there. But yeah, I guess, I
will drop one last thing. If you're willing to volunteer and you want to help, we can take volunteers, right? You can do simple things like move a cone, direct somebody, walk around. We've got the character, the loon.
The loon will be there. That's right.
Will be there dressed up, right?
And Minnesota soccer team.
Yeah. So, there's many things that people could help with. So if you're just looking to get involved and you'd like to donate, it's 4 hours of the day. Yep. We'd love to hear from you.
Yep. And guaranteed great weather.
Yeah,
I'll throw that out there.
Always. We already booked that.
I emailed Mother Nature, and she's like, you're in.
It's fantastic. Awesome. Well, thanks again very much for coming in. Darin, Jeremy, really appreciate it. Everybody at Allina Health and Buffalo Hospital, everybody sitting on the board, all the volunteers, anybody who's done actually the event, sponsored, given money, everything. One, pay it forward. Be a great neighbor. We really appreciate you. For the Buffalo Community Podcast, I'm Tyler Reese.
Jeremy Welter.
Darin Zuma.
Thanks for listening to the Buffalo Community Podcast, produced by Edlin Media. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube, as well as anywhere you listen to podcasts.